You can have, I think, like 6 Riskets. Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki. Today I'm going to be going through my top 30 must-have food items for Weight Watchers and just staying on track with my weight loss and maintenance journey. So I haven't done one of these in a little bit, and I thought it was time to do a little bit of an updated one, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So if you enjoyed this video or find it helpful, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And let's get started. So I went ahead and just made myself a list of the top 30 items that I have eaten the most in the past year or so, and just honestly throughout my journey. I started Weight Watchers in April of 2020, and in a year I lost 70 pounds, and I've just been maintaining that loss now since then. So these are the foods that I eat all the time, that I buy the most, and they are the foods that help me to stay on track with my weight loss and maintenance. I also am gonna be going in the order of the list as I wrote it, so these were just the top things, and then it just goes lower and lower, but honestly, it doesn't really matter the order that I'm going in. But I'm gonna give the points on Weight Watchers, and some of these, it's a little bit of like a category, and I'll have a couple different brands. You guys will see what I mean, but I'm gonna be doing 30 items today. And the first thing that I'm starting with is something that has become one of my favorite products to buy. I buy it pretty much every time we go to the grocery store, and that is Barilla Protein Plus pasta. So I love this stuff because it is, first of all, lower in points, it's higher in protein. It doesn't have any weird taste that some other lower point pastas kind of do have. It is just so similar to regular pasta, and I love it so much. I eat it all the time, like multiple times a week. They've got a few different types of noodles, so I usually buy all of them. This is the rotini here, but I also really like to get the elbows and the spaghetti and angel hair. They've also got, I think, cavatappi, I don't even know, shells. They've got a bunch of stuff. So I buy these whenever I can, and I like to use them for any different pasta dish that I make, whether it's tuna noodles or with like a meat sauce or meatballs or just chicken or even like pasta salad. And what I like about this is that I can have a bigger portion. So like I can make the whole meal pasta and use a 3-ounce dry serving, which is 6 points on Weight Watchers. And whenever I make my pasta, I just weigh it out dry and then I cook it after. So it's technically 4 points for the serving of 2 ounces, but I like to do 3 for 6. And then in the same category, I also wanted to include the brand Al Dente because I also really like their pastas that they have. They're good lower point options. The regular fettuccine that I like to buy, this is the spinach one, but the regular I know is 15 points for the whole bag, and usually I get like 4 portions out of it, and it's big portion sizes. So I really like these, another good option, and always have both of these in my pantry. Okay, the next thing that is a must-have item is grilled chicken breast, and whether that's like freezer chicken breast or like these Members Mark Sam's Club chicken, these are technically 0 points, so I'm not gonna be going into a bunch of 0 point foods today. I also wanted to mention that before I started this video. I have another video where I talk about 0 point foods, which that usually includes most of the fruits, vegetables, proteins, all of that stuff that I like to eat, so I will link that in the description below. That again is an older one I think I made last year, but I'll have to do an updated one soon, although that doesn't really change for me. I still eat a lot of the same 0 point foods. These foods are the ones that change a little more. So before anyone makes a comment about the fact that this is all like store-bought and not real food, these are the foods that have point values, and 0 point foods, fruits, vegetables, all that stuff are things that I eat a ton of throughout the day, but I'm not gonna be mentioning them today because those are a different video. So anyway, grilled chicken, like I said, this one's technically 0, but sometimes I get freezer grilled chicken that's got like 1 or 2 points for the serving, and it is just so nice to have on hand so that I can just pop it in the air fryer and add it to a wrap or a bowl, or sometimes even like pasta. If I just want a grilled chicken on some pasta, I do that, and it's really good because it's also really easy to add some veggies to that. Grilled chicken breast is a huge thing that I always like to have on hand. I use it all the time. It's a good high protein option. The next thing that I eat all the time is rice, specifically jasmine rice. I just love the flavor of it. I like that I can have 3/4 cup cooked for 5 points or a cup for 6 points, depending on what serving I want. Sometimes if I'm trying to keep a meal a little bit lower point, I'll just do the 5-point serving, but other times I do 6 points for a cup. But what I like to do is just have it pre-made in these black containers like this. I use a rice cooker, and then I just buy the big bags of jasmine rice from Sam's Club or Costco, and we make it when we run out so that we always have some in the fridge. Okay, number 4 is reduced fat cheese. And when I first started my Weight Watchers journey, I started eating fat-free cheese because I just saw a lot of people talk about it, that it was 0 to 1 point. And honestly, it destroyed my stomach every time we would eat it. Adam and I would get extreme bloating, extreme just like pain in our stomachs, and we stopped doing that pretty quickly. So the fat-free cheese didn't last long, but we decided to try reduced fat cheeses and found that they were amazing. Honestly, didn't affect our stomach in any way, just more similar to like regular cheese, but lower in points. They're made with 2% milk, so it's got fewer calories, but still has a good amount of protein. So this is an example of like a shredded mozzarella that I like to get. It's just a great value brand. I also really like to get the Trader Joe's reduced fat shredded mozzarella. This is 3 points for the serving and 70 calories, and it's got 8 grams of protein. So I use that for pizza, eggs, pasta, anything that I need shredded cheese for. I like to use the mozzarella, or they have a few other options at Trader Joe's as well, or even like Meijer, sometimes I buy them, or Woodman's. And then I also like to get reduced fat slices of cheese. So this I got from Meijer. This is their reduced fat Colby Jack for 2 points for a slice. And then Jarlsberg, which I get from Trader Joe's. This is also 2 points for a slice. It's reduced fat Swiss. So I like to use these for sandwiches, burgers, anything again that you use sliced cheese for. It's a good lower point option, and I just always have these in the fridge. Okay, number 5 is vanilla Greek yogurt. So I've tried a few brands, and there's another brand I really like. I think it's called Ratio. It's a little bit higher in points, but this has been my go-to, the Dan and Light and Fit vanilla Greek yogurt. I love to make yogurt bowls for dessert because I like to add some cereal and some blueberries or strawberries or raspberries, and sometimes I even add peanut butter. It is so good. It honestly satisfies my craving for like ice cream or like a sweet dessert at night, and that's why I like to use this. This has 14 grams of protein in the serving, which is 3 points. Sometimes I use a 2-point serving, which is just a little less, but I like to get the tub like this because then I could just scoop out the serving that I want, and I usually just weigh it out on my food scale. That's usually for yogurt bowls. That's pretty much all I really use that for, but I always have that. And then speaking of cereal, so like I said, I like to put cereal in my yogurt bowls, and so I like to have some low point cereal options. So I have a couple that I'm gonna be showing. What I like to do with these is just have a smaller portion in general. So granola can be high in points, and that's what I like to add to my yogurt. So I decided to try some different cereals because I realized I could have a little bit bigger of a portion for like 2 to 3 points. And that's usually how much I like to use on my yogurt bowls. So some of the cereals I like to use, I really like this brand 3 Wishes. It's got a good amount of protein for the serving, so that's what I always like about it. And a cup is 3 points on Weight Watchers. I also like to use these Panda Puffs. So I get these at like Trader Joe's or Woodman's. Usually again, just weigh out a 2-point serving. So I set it to grams, put my scale down, put my yogurt bowl down, and then I top it with the cereal. And then another one of my favorites that I eat all the time is Kashi Go. Specifically, I like the peanut butter, but we're actually out of it right now. So the chocolate's also really good, but it's just the perfect topping. I feel like it's such a good serving for 2 points to be like the perfect crunch on a yogurt. Okay, next up for my Weight Watchers must-haves, I've got tortillas. So these have become a favorite of mine more recently, and they are corn tortillas. So the brand is El Milagro, and for 1 tortilla, it's 1 point. For 2 tortillas, it's 3 points, and for 3 tortillas, it's 4 points. I like to use these to make tacos or quesadillas. They honestly heat up so nicely in a pan, and I just use some like nonstick olive oil spray to heat them up, and then they are like nice and crispy for tacos. I'll add some like ground turkey, cheese, and lettuce or something like that. Or sometimes I like to use like shrimp tacos and stuff, but I buy these all the time now, usually from like Sam's Club or Walmart, and they're just a nice option. Honestly, when I'm craving like restaurant Mexican food or something, it really satisfies that craving. So I have been loving these lately. I feel like in the past few months, these have become a must-have for me, even more than before. But also the low-carb tortillas are huge. They really have helped me to stay on track. I love that these are super high in fiber, so these are the smaller ones. I actually like to use the larger ones more, but if I have the smaller ones, I'll usually do 2 of them. They are 1 point for 1 tortilla, 3 points for 2. And 1 tortilla has 60 calories and 4 grams of protein, but it also has 12 grams of fiber. I love to use these for breakfast burritos, quesadillas, even like lunch meat wraps. I'm kind of picky with the low carb tortillas. I like extreme wellness as well, but for me, I don't usually like to have those cold. I need them like air fried or cooked on the stove first. But with these La Banderitas, I find that I can actually just eat them cold, even if I do like a lunch meat and lettuce wrap or something. I feel like these taste the most similar to regular flour tortillas, and they still have a little bit of a different texture and flavor, but I think it's the most similar. So I really like these. I buy these all the time and use them for a bunch of different types of wraps. I've got a lot of wraps in my cookbook, so it's a lot of those that I like to make, like a turkey BLT or like a barbecue chicken, buffalo chicken, stuff like that. Okay, next up, I'm not huge on eating salads, but I do buy a lot of salad dressing because I use ranch as like a drizzle on different like rice bowls and stuff, or as a dipping sauce when I have chicken and stuff like that. So I have actually been loving this one lately. This is the Bold House Farms cilantro avocado dressing. It's 2 points for 2 tablespoons. I've also really been liking this salsa ranch from Bold House. So this is a newer one that they have. Also 2 points for 2 tablespoons, but like I said, I like to use these if I make like a taco bowl, especially these 2 flavors, or chicken as like a dipping sauce, or anything that I use ranch for. Before I started my weight loss journey, I used to put ranch on everything, even like pizza and stuff like that. I really like ranch. And when I found Bolt House, I was so excited because it's a much lower point option. I think a tablespoon of ranch is like 5 points, and this is 1 point for a tablespoon. But it still satisfies that craving for ranch, goes well with so many different meals, and I like that they've got so many different flavors. They've also got like a balsamic, a Caesar. They've got so many different types of dressing. An Italian I like to use for pasta salad. So in general, Bold House Farms dressings have been huge and just such a must-have on my weight loss journey. Okay, the next thing I actually don't have with me, it's just center cut bacon. So when I first started Weight Watchers, would only really make turkey bacon because it was a lower point option. But then I realized that it wasn't even really a lower point option when I found out that center cut bacon is 1 point for 1 slice and 2 points for 2 slices, which is pretty much the same as turkey bacon. So I started buying center cut bacon, and we use that all the time now. I'll usually just buy a package of it and then heat it up in the oven, and then just have it already pre-cooked in the fridge so that I can grab 1 or 2 pieces at a time to add to burgers or wraps or bowls or sandwiches. We like to add bacon to a lot of different things, or even if I'm making like an egg bowl or a scramble in the morning, it's nice to just grab 2 slices and they're already cooked. Center cut bacon is nice that it's 2 points for 2 slices. Sometimes I'll just have 1 slice for 1 point, but it's a nice option to always have. Then the next thing I also don't have with me, and that is ground chicken and 96% lean ground beef. Those are 2 things that I use all the time. It's just a higher protein option for a meat when I make a meal. So with the ground chicken, I like to use it to do chicken meatballs, chicken burgers, or even sometimes I'll use it to make like a meat sauce for pasta. And then with the ground beef, I really like to use it to make burgers, or sometimes I'll make taco meat with it. Those 2 things have points. So like I said, I'm not really talking about the 0 point foods today, which would be like 99% lean ground turkey. I use that all the time, but that's a 0 point option. With the ground chicken, it has points because it's not just chicken breast. And then the 96% lean ground beef is lower in points. It's usually like 3 points for 4 ounces, which isn't bad. And so that's something that I like to incorporate, but again, it's not 0 points. It's just a nice protein option to kind of mix things up every once in a while so I don't get burned out of chicken and turkey. Okay, the next must-have item is panko breadcrumbs. So I use these all the time for a few different things. First of all, they work so well when I make burgers or meatballs. I love to add egg and panko and seasoning. That's pretty much just how I make them every time. And so I always need panko for that. I also love to use panko to bread things because it gives it such a nice crunch. So whether it's little chicken bites, or sometimes I've done like breaded shrimp or veggies like green beans or pickles, it's really nice to have panko on hand because it's a lower point option than like regular breadcrumbs, and it gives it such a good crunch. Okay, the next thing is protein shakes. So specifically Quest salted caramel, it's my all-time favorite. I have gone through so many different phases with different protein shakes, but once I found the Quest salted caramel, I've pretty much stuck to it since then, and it's been years. So this is one that I did find during the peak of my weight loss. It's 3 points for 1 protein shake, and it's got 170 calories and 30 grams of protein. So what I do is I just mix it with an espresso pod and then a scoop of chocolate collagen. It helps me to get 40 grams of protein in. It keeps me full, and it satisfies that craving for honestly like Starbucks coffee. I think this one tastes so much like a Starbucks drink when you mix it with an espresso pod because it's a little bit more of a coffee flavor, but then this is so sweet and has such good flavor. I just love these. So this is my favorite. I usually get them at like Walmart or Target. They're over by like the protein section, but 3 points for this, and I buy them all the time. Okay, going along with protein shakes, we've got protein bars. So you guys probably know Bear Bells are my favorite. I love them, and I've been eating these pretty much from the start of my weight loss journey. We originally found them at Trader Joe's, and then I started ordering them online, and now I just routinely order them online so that we stay stocked up. They have their regular bars like these, so that's like the creamy crisp, caramel cashew, cookies and cream, salty peanut. I really like all of those. And then they also have their soft bars, which these are newer, but I love these just as much. They have the peanut caramel and then choco caramel, which is like my all-time favorite. I swear they taste like candy bars. Same with the Creamy Crisp. So good. I eat them when I'm craving a candy bar usually, so a lot of the time I just have them for dessert at night. It helps me to hit my protein goal and it satisfies that craving for candy, but other times I'll just have them like after a workout, or if I don't have time to eat a breakfast and I'm like on the go, I'll just grab one of these because they're a little bit more filling, having 20 grams of protein, and then the soft ones have 16 grams, but just such a good option. And then along with those, I love these Ready Clean protein bars. So I've got the chocolate peanut butter here and the chocolate chip. I also love the dark chocolate ones they have. So they've got one that has coconut, one that has blueberry, and then just a regular dark chocolate, I think almond. But these are all usually 5 points. And I forgot to say, the Bear Bells are usually 5 to 6 points depending on the flavor. I think this one's 6, and then the Creamy Crisp is 5. But the peanut butter's 5. I think the chocolate chip's 5 too. I need to double check. But usually they're all 5 to 6 points. And again, another option that these I like to have before the gym usually. Not so much the sweeter ones. So like the peanut butter one, I save for dessert usually because it's super sweet. But the dark chocolate ones I like to have before the gym. They're 5 points. And I love the portion of these bars. I feel like they're actually really big for what they are. So it is pretty filling and gives me the energy I need to get through my workout. But other times I have them after a workout or again for dessert. Okay, next up, and this is something again that I've been buying more recently. I bought them a lot in the beginning of my journey. I think I kind of burned myself out and now I'm back to buying them again because they're just so good. And they're only 2 points. So English muffins in general are a nice option to make breakfast sandwiches with. These ones specifically are the light multigrain from the brand Thomas. So one English muffin is 100 calories and it's only 2 points on Weight Watchers. So it makes a really filling breakfast to add 1 to 2 eggs to it, some type of protein. So usually I do Canadian bacon, or chicken sausage, and then usually like a slice of cheese. And it is super good, super filling, and usually like 5 to 6 points. So I usually buy these just at like Walmart. I feel like they're at every grocery store that we go to other than like Trader Joe's and Aldi. It's just really nice that they're a 2 point option. And sometimes if I don't want to have them as a breakfast sandwich, I'll also do like open face things on them. So I'll do a tuna melt or like a pizza sandwich where I just put some pizza sauce, some turkey pepperoni, and some reduced fat shredded mozzarella, pop them in the air fryer, and they make a really good snack or even a meal for like lunch or something with something else. Okay, number 15 for my must-have items is sprouted grain bread. So this loaf is actually just about gone. This is just the ends, but we really like the brand Ezekiel. This is the one we've probably bought the most throughout our journey, and it is just a good sprouted grain option. Specifically, the sesame is our favorite. They have a few other flavors. With the sprouted grain bread, it is 2 points for 1 slice and 3 points for 2 slices. It's another good option for breakfast sandwiches or even just like toast. Sometimes I'll make just like cinnamon toast with it, or peanut butter toast, or even avocado toast. We use this bread mostly for sandwiches and toast, but it's nice to have. Adam always makes his sandwiches for work on it. I prefer to have it toasted. I feel like it gets a little dry and kind of like crumbly when you just have it cold, but toasted, it's really good. Or even cooked in a pan as like a melt or something is really good. So it's a good low point option and it's got really good flavor. It also has 3 grams of fiber per slice and 5 grams of protein per slice. Okay, the next thing that I love, and this is something I feel like I've been eating from the start of my weight loss journey, one of my all-time favorite snacks, and my favorite snacks especially to bring on the go or hiking, and that is Love Corn. So corn nuts in general, but Love Corn has just been my favorite brand. I pretty much only get Love Corn now that I think about it, but they've got a few different flavors that I really enjoy. This is the barbecue. They've also got like a vegan cheesy, a sea salt, which I love. They've got like a sweet chili, a salt and vinegar. They've got a bunch of options. And so those have been a really nice salty snack. Usually the packs are 2 points for the whole thing. And sometimes they make littler ones that are actually 1 point. And then sometimes they also make bigger bags, which you could weigh the portion out that you want or whatever. So 90 calories for this. And it's just such a nice on-the-go snack. I give these their own separate category because I just love them so much. And it's something I buy all the time when I go to the store. Then the next thing is just kind of gummy low point options. So a lot of the time I crave like fruit snacks and stuff like that, or like fruit by the foot, different like gummy stuff. And these are some lower point options that I found that I love. I'm actually out of the blue raspberry, which are my favorite, but they have Sun-Maid fruity raisin snacks. This one's the tropical punch. It tastes really good. It kind of reminds me of like a Starburst flavor, like the tropical ones. but they're just golden raisins with a flavoring on them. They also have blue raspberry, which is my all-time favorite. It is so good. They're 2 points for the pack. They satisfy that craving for candy, especially because the blue raspberry just tastes like blue raspberry gummy candy. They're so good. Then another thing that I really like, these Bear fruit rolls. So I think these are meant to be just like a kid snack, but they come with 2 fruit rolls in them. They've got a bunch of different flavors. These are just raspberry. I usually buy the big box from Costco, or sometimes I'll just buy the regular box from Walmart or Meijer, but it's 1 point for the pack with 2 rolls, and again, something when I want something gummy. It kind of tastes like fruit leather, but it's a good option, and it's just like all natural, no added sugar fruit. I also really like the brand Solely. I'm out of theirs, but they also make little like gummies. They have like little nuggets that they have that, again, when I want like fruit snacks or something, even though it kind of tastes like fruit leather, it still is really good. It satisfies that craving for something chewy and gummy. Okay, next up, we've got chicken sausage. So here I've just got one from Aldi. This is just their mild Italian chicken sausage. It's 2 points for the link, and they've got 13 grams of protein and only 80 calories. These have really been a good one that we've liked. I like to use chicken sausages for eggs, for pizza bakes, for pasta, and just, I don't know, anything you need sausage. I feel like we never actually just eat them plain. We usually add them to things like that. They're a good higher protein option, and when you can find lower point ones like these that are only 2 points, or honestly the brand Belinsky I love. Theirs are all pretty much 2 points, I want to say. Some of them might even be 1 point for the link. Those are really good. I also really like the chicken sausages from Trader Joe's. And like I said, it's something that's nice that's like in the fridge. I could just grab because they're pre-cooked, so I can just slice them up and add them to a pasta dish or eggs or something like that. Okay, next up, this is something in the past year that I just started buying all the time, and I love them. I use them for breakfast. They are the Simply Potatoes shredded hash browns. So I do buy their other ones. They have like diced potatoes as well and stuff, but specifically the shredded makes such a good breakfast bowl. So I'll just spray the pan with some nonstick cooking spray. I'll add in 2 points of potatoes, which that's how much the serving is, and then cook them for a little. Then I add some eggs, some veggies, some cheese, and some protein. Super easy to mix together all in one pan, and it makes a really filling breakfast that honestly tastes like a restaurant skillet, especially with these hash browns specifically. So I buy these all the time now. I usually have 1 to 2 bags in my fridge at a time because they're just so convenient and easy to make. I used to buy the freezer ones, and I find that these are just so much better when they're fresh like this. It's easier to just cook them up, and I just prefer them. So those are awesome, and I buy them all the time. Okay, the next thing is something that I use very similar to how I use the rice. So this is couscous. I get it from Trader Joe's. It's 4 points for the serving, which is nice because it's still filling. You can have a good portion and it's only 4 points. So sometimes I'll even do a bigger portion for like 5 to 6 points. I usually just heat it in the microwave. I put it in a bowl with some chicken broth and I just microwave it that way. Sometimes I'll make a bigger portion so that I can have some in the fridge already pre-cooked. But I just love to use this as a base for different bowls, or sometimes I'll make like a summer salad. So I'll cut up some cucumbers, some tomato, maybe some grilled chicken and mix it in there with this and like some balsamic dressing. And it makes like a good, even like cold couscous salad. Okay, next up, I just had to include these because we buy them pretty much every time we go to the store, but any type of like mini wontons, like these frozen chicken wontons, these ones are specifically from Aldi. I also really like the brand Bibigo, and they've also got some at Trader Joe's that are similar. They're like the cilantro mini wontons. So these are a nice option to have as a side when we do like fried rice or sesame noodles, or sometimes for lunch, I'll make a serving of jasmine rice. I'll take a can of tuna salad with some sriracha, and then I'll heat up some of these and add maybe cucumber edamame, and it makes a really quick bowl. I can either air fry these or cook them on the stove. You could also microwave them, but I just prefer to either do the stove or air fryer to give them a little crunch. And then they make such a good addition to different bowls and stuff like that. So the serving for this is 13 pieces for 6 points on Weight Watchers. The other ones, like the Trader Joe's ones, it's like 4 for a point. So you can have a really good portion of those. And that's what I really like because they're kind of just like bite-sized wontons. I know a lot of people like to use these for soup. I still haven't tried that yet, so that's on my list to do. But just a good option for appetizer night or as a side, and they're lower in points. They've got chicken and vegetables usually, and we really like them. Okay, the next thing we actually just finished, so I don't have one here, but it's just jarred queso. So I like to find different brands that are usually like 1 to 2 points for the serving. At the start of my weight loss journey, there was one at Trader Joe's that I loved and they discontinued it. And so since then I've just been trying out different brands, and I usually like the Pace brand. I've tried a few others that are a little higher in points, but I feel like that one's good for the amount of points that it is. A lot of the time when I have the queso, I don't use a lot. It's just like the perfect addition to a rice bowl. When you mix it all together, it makes it creamy and cheesy, and usually you only have to add like 1 point worth for it to do that. So I like to do that, or my favorite thing to do with queso is to top burritos with it. So I'll make air fryer chicken wraps where I put some chicken and veggie mix in there, pop them in the air fryer, and then when they come out, I put the melted queso on top, and it is so good. Again, it tastes kind of like a restaurant meal. So queso is something that we always usually have a jar of. I'm surprised we don't have a backup right now, but I think it's just because we were moving. We tried to kind of hold back on stocking up on different stuff like that. So we're out of it now. We need to get more, but it is really a staple that we like to add to different meals. Okay, so 23, we've got meat sticks. Specifically, these are the Mighty Spark chicken sticks. They have 2 flavors that I love. Honestly, every flavor I've tried of theirs I really like. The teriyaki is really good, but the honey jalapeno and the sea salt and pepper are so good. The sea salt and pepper are 1 point for the stick. The honey jalapeno are 2, but they're 60 calories and they've got usually, I wanna say like 5 to 6 grams of protein depending on the flavor. Just a super convenient snack. This together, this is like my go-to when I just need something quick, even for like hiking or something. I like to have like the saltiness and the crunch, and it's just really good. So I usually buy these online off Amazon. You can buy them actually in bulk. I think I get like 48 at a time, but I always keep these stocked up because we all just like to have them as like a quick grab and go snack. And 1 to 2 points is not bad, especially because they've got some protein. So they do help you feel a little bit more full. But again, this is just a quick on the go thing that I like to have as an option. Okay, next up I have rice crackers. So I really love rice crackers actually. I've realized that they are just so good as like a side when I have tuna. Before I used to eat a lot of like Triscuits and Ritz crackers, and those can add up pretty quickly. You can have like 6 Ritz for the serving or whatever. It doesn't seem like that much. So that's why I really like to get these, because specifically these are a little bit smaller. These are the Trader Joe's rice crackers, but the serving is 38 crackers for 3 points. So it feels like you're getting a lot, and I love to have these with like dips or like tuna. It makes a filling meal. I also really like the brand Crunchmaster, so they've got rice crackers as well. We just get this box from Sam's Club. They have multigrain 5 seed. These are 4 points for the serving of about 14 crackers, but these are much bigger crackers. And again, they're just so good as like a snack plate when I make them. And a lot of times when I do that, I make like tuna with it. So that's my favorite to dip these in. So they're salty and crunchy, and that's why I like them so much, because you could also have a good serving for a low amount of points. Okay, next up, this one I just kind of threw some things together. These are like some sweet treats I like, but like chocolatey. So I've got Skinny Dipped, which Skinny Dip just makes different nuts that are dipped in chocolate, but they've got a bunch of different flavors and stuff. I really like the birthday cake cashews, also the salted caramel. They've also got a lot of different almonds. And so what they are is they're just a little bit more thin dipped than regular chocolate covered nuts and stuff. So they're lower in points, and that's why I like to have these. And sometimes I don't always have the full serving, but if you want the serving of 12 cashews, it's 6 points on Weight Watchers. Then in the same category, I wanted to include True Fruit, which is chocolate covered fruit. This comes in the freezer section. Also, just another option when I'm craving something sweet. I like to get a bunch of different ones that they have. So they've got strawberries, cherries, raspberries, bananas, pineapple. They've got so many different options. And these are 5 points for the serving of an ounce, which is about 4 to 5 pieces. Another one that I don't always have the full serving. Sometimes I'll just grab like 1 or 2 out of the freezer after dinner, and it just satisfies that like chocolatey craving that I have. And then the last thing I wanted to include with this is Honey Mamas. So I love Honey Mamas. It's a higher point option, but it is so good. It's so indulgent and sweet. And they're pretty much made just mostly from like honey and cocoa, and then they've got a bunch of different flavors like the peppermint mocha, the pumpkin spice, the almond one. They just have like a plain almond one that I like. They've got a coconut one. They've got so many different ones that we've tried, and honestly I don't think there's been a bad one that we have tried of theirs. We love all of them, but usually 6 to 7 points for the serving, which is a third of the bar. Adam and I agree that it's like enough of an indulgent serving that it's definitely worth the points, and it's just something that I buy all the time to have as one of my sweet options. So a lot of the time after I finish my dinner, after I finish my apple, I like to have a little sweet bite, and these are some of the things I like to go for. Okay, 26, I gave the Thai wheat noodles their own slot because these are my favorite. I buy them every time I go to Trader Joe's. I've tried a few other brands at other stores because there was a short period of time where they didn't have the Thai wheat noodles and I didn't have any. So I've tried a few others. I don't know exactly. I think it's Thai Kitchen is the other brand that I liked, but it's not the same as these, and these have just been my favorite. This comes with 3 individual packages, and and each package is 8 points on Weight Watchers. So sometimes I'll make a recipe with like 2 of them and then just divide the servings out. Or sometimes if I'm just like on my own for dinner and I just want to make something quick, I will just heat up a pack of these with some chicken and veggies, and then it's only 8 points because that's all I have to track. I'll add some like soy sauce and stuff, but these are my all-time favorite. I just love how quick and easy they are and that they're just so good. I just love noodles. So these are from Trader Joe's specifically, but something that I always have multiple boxes of. Okay, 27, we've got lunch meat. So this is just from Sam's Club. This is just their oven roasted turkey breast. It's 1 point for the serving. Sometimes I'll just have like a couple pieces on like a snack plate, or other times I like to make sandwiches or wraps with it. But for the serving of 3 slices, it does have 12 grams of protein. So that's also another reason I like to incorporate it. It's more filling because it's got a decent amount of protein. Not something I have every day, but it's something that every once in a while I like to just have a sandwich or, like I said, a snack plate. There's also a few others that we like to buy, specifically the Hillshire Farms pastrami works really well for different Reuben recipes. I like to get ham sometimes, especially Crocus, that's my favorite. I prefer like a salty ham over a sweet, so we'll get that sometimes to make sub sandwiches with, or just regular breakfast sandwiches, and those are usually the lunch meats we buy. Okay, then we've got milk. So I love this Fairlife milk. This has become pretty much the go-to milk that I buy. Before I would buy the Silk cashew milk all the time, and I still buy it from time to time, or even like this. This is the almond cashew macadamia nut milk from Trader Joe's. This is usually like, I think 0 points for like 3/4 cup, but I think it's a point for 1 cup. And then the Fairlife, I like to get the fat-free, so it's 2 points for a cup. And then when I make a protein shake, I only use 3/4 cup for 1 point. So the reason that I've kind of switched over to this instead of the Silk cashew milk is because this has way more protein. The cashew milk had 1 gram for a cup, and this has 13 grams of protein in a cup. So that was pretty much the main reason. I feel like they honestly taste pretty similar. They're both kind of watery, but they have like a slight milk flavor to them. I just have never even been a big fan of milk, so that's why I like to get this. I like the fat-free one. I feel like it works super well in different recipes, but then also for like coffee or cereal or whenever we're just like using it to add to things. So I always buy this, really nice for protein shakes. And like I said, it adds a good amount of protein. Even if you don't do the full serving, it still has more than what a cup of the cashew milk I used to buy does. But still, the cashew milk and like the almond milk like this is a good option because it is lower in points. Okay, the next thing I actually don't have either. We just finished them, and that is Laughing Cow wedges. So I really like to just get the light Laughing Cow wedges. They're 1 point per wedge. I also like to get the pepper jack or the garlic and herb I've been buying more recently. They're just really nice to use as a spread on wraps. A lot of the time I would spread it on a wrap with some hummus when I added the chicken and veggies, and it just melts together and it's so creamy because of the Laughing Cow. So I really like to use them for that. I also sometimes will melt them for pasta sauce or for buffalo chicken dip or crab rangoon recipes, stuff like that where I need like cream cheese. I can use Laughing Cow for, and it works really well as a lower point option. Sometimes I even use Laughing Cow on bagels as a cream cheese substitute. So I love to get those. Usually they're at any grocery store or like Walmart or whatever, so I get them pretty much every time we go. But those are just another staple item that I've been using from the start of my weight loss journey. Okay, and then the last thing that we're gonna end on, again, kind of like a category, and that's just having lower point chip and like puff options. So I've got protein puffs. These are the brand Ready. They've got a few different flavors that we enjoy. So protein puffs are good because they're filling, and like the serving of this has 10 grams of protein in it. I also really like the Quest protein chips. Those have 19 grams of protein in the bag. They're a little pricey, but to me they're worth it to incorporate every once in a while. I really like these from Trader Joe's. So these are 3 points for the serving. They're their sour cream and onion, lentil and rice snacks. And then they also have the crunchy curls that I love that are 3 points for the serving. Then some of these Mosaic crisps I like to get off Amazon. They've got a few flavors. I really like the barbecue as well. And then Pitos, these taste like Funyuns, but they're only 1 point for the bag, and just another good crunchy salty snack. So I like to have all these different salty snacks to make snack mixes with, or if I'm having like a sandwich for lunch, sometimes I'll just have a bag of Pitos or a bag of the Quest protein chips with them, and it just works to be a more filling meal. It gives me that like salty crunch that I want, and it's not a bunch of points for a small serving. I like that with these lower point options, I can have bigger servings, but they're still within my point budget, and I enjoy them. So that wraps up everything for my Weight Watchers must-have food items. It's changed over the years, and I try to do one of these videos every year to kind of see how it changes. This is my updated version, and these are all the things that I'm buying the most right now that help me to stay on track with my maintenance journey and just my weight loss. A lot of these I've been eating from the start, and they just really help me to stay on track. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. If there was something that I didn't mention today that isn't a 0-point food that's one of your Weight Watchers must-haves, I want to hear it in the comments. Leave it below and let's see what I'm missing. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.